Well, they always tell you if you're going to go down swinging. That's what the Nashville Predators are going to do this week with an epic week on the schedule. We'll preview the week ahead. Plus, look back at last week with some plus minus, our Monday weekly segment where we break down the highs and lows of Predators hockey. That's all coming up today on the Locked On Predators podcast.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day every single day. We are your free daily Nashville Predators podcast, available to you wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. I'm Nick Morgan. I'm a writer at Penalty Box Radio, and I have a partner in crime.
You do. I'm Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer and editor at InsideThePreds.com. Tell us more, Nick.
Well, first off, I'm pretty sure that's been announced by the time everybody's listening to this podcast, unless it was pushed back and I didn't know about it.
Breaking news.
Yeah. So as everybody, may or may not have heard, on the forecheck, lost its funding from Vox Media. They're going independent. So if you happen to be on the internet, make sure you are supporting all of On the Forecheck's new work and new endeavors. But I fully intended to kind of step away from writing for, at least the end of the season, kind of just focus on Locked On Preds and all that good stuff. And, word got out among some Preds circle of people that I was stepping aside. Got a few people that reached out to me after that and just kind of asked if I was interested. And PBR has some stuff, in the works that I can't quite talk about until next season, but, some good opportunities there. And so here I am.
Congratulations. I love this.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate it.
It's going to be so fun.
Looking forward to it. I think I'm looking forward to that more than the Preds might be looking forward to this week on the schedule. Because the Predators, boy, do they have a gauntlet ahead of them. It starts tonight on the road against the Dallas Stars, tomorrow against Vegas, top team in the Western Conference right now. On Thursday, Carolina Hurricanes, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, and then probably the season ender, or at least the game that's going to decide how the season turns out. I don't know if the Preds are still going to kind of be in contention by then, but the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday, that's the one I think, all the marbles are right on that game right there.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be an easy week for the Nashville Predators. How do you approach this if you're the team?
I think it helps that the team is in a good mental space as far as how they're playing and what they're focused on, because they're very hungry. Post game after the win over the St. Louis Blues, John Hines talked about, we're looking ahead. We know what we have to do. And Ryan McDonough talked about, it's in our hands. We have to control our own destiny here. So this is a team that's hungry. It's also a team that, for whatever reason, and I'm here for it, they believe they might be able to do this. And I'm here for that. We saw a really great performance against the St. Louis Blues. And I'm not comparing the St. Louis Blues to the Carolina Hurricanes, but no. But I am saying that the Predators can put together and have put together at times with this very different looking lineup, some really good games. Let's see what they can do. But I'm telling you, this is a gauntlet. This is, I talked to Gil Martin from the National Show about the Predators that's coming out later today. And he said, I just look at the schedule and I don't know what to say. And I'm like, you can say the bad words. Like we're all calling this final 7 games what they are. There is only playoff teams or teams vying for a final playoff spot. This is, like you said, this is a gauntlet. But I like where Nashville is as far as just their mental space. I like what we've seen from them. I like the potential they have to keep it a little bit interesting. But like you said, it starts tonight against Dallas, and that is not nothing, friends. That is not nothing.
I like that it is a opportunity for this young team to play meaningful hockey down the stretch. Like, even if you don't fight for a playoff spot, like let's say the Predators are just like 20 points out or something like that. The fact that every single team on the schedule is fighting for something in the playoffs. Dallas has led the Central Division most of the year. Now they're in third. All of a sudden, Vegas is fighting for that number 1 seed in Pacific. Carolina is in a heated battle for a number 1 seed in the Metropolitan Division. We know the situation with Winnipeg right now. All of these teams, and some of the teams the Preds are going to face next week too. All of these teams are fighting for something. So they're going to bring their A game. They're going to bring we have to win this or else kind of mentality. And that's good for this young team because it is going to be a playoff atmosphere. And you throw in the fact that the Preds still not technically out of it. I think the road is getting a little bit murky here in this last week of the season, but they're technically still not out of it. And, if you're the Preds, you're fighting for a chance to get into the postseason in a year in which it looked like you were sellers. Like it looked like you were resigned to just, sell off all your assets and whatnot. So,
and I love what you're saying though, about how important this hockey is, because like you said, there's a playoff feel to this. These games are going to have a different energy, and these young players need to know what that energy feels like in the NHL down the stretch. This is a slog for these players that have come up. This is a very different schedule, a very different physical and mental demand on them. This is good. Whether the Predators make it into the playoffs or not, they are gaining so much from how this season is going to end. And, that's going to benefit this team when they start out next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about tonight against the Dallas Stars, and because this is always one I think Preds fans have circled on the calendar. Maybe contention for top Preds rivalry right now.
Corey Perry.
I would say, well, he's in Tampa, but
but it lingers.
The lingerness of Corey Perry.
Yep.
I mean, this is one I think that is going to have a playoff atmosphere, even if both teams were way out of it.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't seem like the two teams / fan bases gel with each other very much. And what do you see being a key to this game?
Same key that I think has kept Nashville in this playoff conversation. I think the most important thing tonight is going to be goaltending. You see Saros. Now, this is the first game of a back-to-back. So I suspect we're going to see Saros and Lankinen in these back-to-backs. When I talk to John Hines, I'm going to suggest Saros starts tonight, but we'll see if he takes my call.
So why Saros tonight, and I assume Lankinen tomorrow against Vegas? At home at Bridgestone Arena, I should add.
I think that factors into part of it. I think that Saros right now, I think, is playing the best hockey he's played this season. It's an away game, very hostile environment against a team where the temperature is just a little bit higher. I think you put Saros in net, especially when you're playing somebody like Jason Robertson. They've got Joe Pavelski, Jamie Benn. They also have a fantastic power play. And I just think, you know what? I would go with Saros. He played so well against St. Louis. I would just go ahead and start Saros tonight. Whether it is Saros or Lankinen, a lot about this game is going to come down to goaltending, because this is a very high-powered offense, especially on, like we said, on the power play. You're going to need solid goaltending. Look, the Predators have played well. These young players are playing well. The veterans are contributing, but goaltending is winning these games. And that's what the Predators are going to need tonight. They're going to need great goaltending.
Yeah. I am.
Who would you start tonight?
On the road, I would say tonight is when you start Lankinen.
Yeah.
And I think you save UC Saros for a big game in front of the home crowd. I'm with you, though. I think that could definitely go either way. Mm-hmm. And one interesting thing I'm watching tonight is going to be the face-off battle. These are two of the best teams in the NHL in terms of face-offs. And, we have talked about this before. I know there's some people out there that are kind of thinking, face-offs maybe a little bit of an overrated stat or whatever. I know that's kind of that mindset mentality has kind of come into the hockey commentary verse here recently, but I don't know. I think it's just one of these things where it's if you have a chance to either win a face-off in the offensive zone and create some offensive pressure on the other team, or if you're in the defensive zone and you can win a face-off and clear the puck, clear the danger, force the other team to have to, do another zone entry to get in and all that good stuff. I think that's an advantage for your team. Dallas is currently best in the NHL in terms of face-off percentage. Preds are in the top 10. Hurts without Ryan Johansson, who is one of the best face-off guys in the entire NHL this season. Yeah. But I think that is critical. And when you have a team like Dallas coming in, where so many weapons like Jason Robertson and Joe Pavelski and all these players having really good years, any chance you have at controlling the play, getting that first opportunity to control the play after a stop, that's going to be huge in this game, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we miss Ryan Johansson, like you said, one of the best in the entire league in faceoffs, but it's been good to see somebody like Cody Glass is getting a lot more faceoffs, a lot more important, faceoffs, whether it's in the defensive zone or whether it's kind of a critical time in the game. Colton Sissons, a little bit of magic in the face-off circle. So I think you're right. I think that's something that could really swing a game that stays close.
All right. Well, it's Monday. That means it's time for Plus Minus. That's where we go through the past week of Preds hockey, give pluses to things we like, minuses to things we need to be improved on. There's a lot to talk about, including a couple of players who deserve some very, very big pluses. So we'll get into that in just a second. But first, I want to mention today's show is sponsored by eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. So get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. All right, Ann. It's Monday, which means it's time for Plus Minus. This is where we go through the past week of Predators hockey, give pluses to the things we liked, minuses to the things we don't. And start us off with a plus, will you?
Always happy to start with a plus. My plus this week, my first one, is going to go to the duo I have termed in my heart the Laverne and Shirley of the Nashville Predators. And that is Tommy Novak and Luke Evangelista.
Yeah.
Because clearly Tommy Novak is Shirley and Luke Evangelista is Laverne. I've just decided this is how this is all going to pan out.
Okay.
This duo has come into Nashville and really been able to replicate the success that they had early on playing in Milwaukee. There is a magic between these guys. Luke Evangelista had a 3-point game on Saturday. Tommy Novak had a 4-point game on Saturday. And the first goal of the game, they connected up on just such an incredible play. So what we're seeing from the two of them, and then you throw in the speed and the physicality of Kiefer Sherwood, who's like, I don't know who he would be in that. You'd have to have another one to make it the Lenny and Squiggy, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it Squiggy? Yeah.
yeah, maybe he could be Squiggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just have some really fun, great hockey magic happening, and the two of them together, I love what we're seeing. It'll be very interesting to see what happens at the start of next season. I think the Predators are getting a really good look at, what this team can have moving forward in a whole reset situation. We'll see who stays in the offseason. We'll see what happens at the draft. But I love what we're seeing from Novak and Evangelista. And we got to talk to them after the game on Saturday and kind of ask them, okay, like what's the deal with the two of you? Like, how come this pairing works so well on the ice? And Luke just said, we think the game really similar. We're both playmakers. We feed off each other. We kind of know what the other person's going to do. And Tommy Novak said the same thing. We just read each other really well. So my first plus goes to the magic that is Laverne and Shirley of the Nashville Predators, Luke and Tommy.
Yeah, this is wild. And when you look at Tommy Novak's season so far, because remember, this was a guy that I think a lot of people kind of overlooked in terms of the Preds prospects coming out. They thought he was a fun player, but I don't think he was ever somebody that was like, okay, that's a building block right there.
Right.
You look at his stats, 37 points in 44 games this season. That's a lot. When you break it down into points per game, 38 points this season. When you break that down into points per game, he's the second most points per game behind Roman Josi.
Yes.
Which is incredible. Like, he now has more points per game than Philip Forsberg.
Yeah. He's played 6 fewer games than Forsberg, and he is 4 points behind Forsberg. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and here's the thing also, you look at the shooting percentage. We've talked about this before. You look at the shooting percentage and you're like, okay, this is unsustainable. He's going to plateau. He's going to come crashing down to earth. It's going to be like a Tanner Jeannot situation almost. You watch him and he's getting better every single game. He's fixing some of the shortcomings that maybe were keeping him from being a, full-time top line guy, some of the defensive struggles or positioning struggles. And he's just making really good, smart veteran hockey plays. He's getting to the net. He is skating himself open. He's skating himself into open passing lanes or cutting to the net and trying to make a play, get the defense out of position. He's doing a lot of things that really smart NHL players do in this game. And he's doing more of it each and every week. So he's getting better. So now you go from, okay, well, this is, maybe, still a good third line guy, blah, 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 blah. He, not going to be this good, to, okay, if Tommy Novak can keep up this level of play, did we just stumble into a building block in our top 6?
Yes. Yeah. And you look ahead, you see Tommy Novak, and if, like you said, if he can continue this play, and we've waited. We thought, okay, it's just sort of that, you're new in the NHL. He'd been up before, but you're back in the NHL and you're kind of playing off of emotion, but he just continues to improve his game. And you think you've got Tommy Novak, you've got Cody Glass. We haven't seen Juuso Parssinen for a while, but remember, that's another guy that they have, a young player that was very impressive when he was able to play, minutes in the NHL. So things are looking really bright. And I agree with you. I don't know that anybody would have said Tommy Novak was going to be the standout star this season, but there he is.
Can I ask you a theory?
Yeah.
So we know the Predators are careful with prospects.
Yes.
We know that. We know sometimes it takes some guys to get going.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen this season in particular, Juuso Parssinen jump up and have an immediate impact. We've had Tommy Novak jump up and have an immediate impact. Luke Evangelista, playing the first professional hockey games of his career, is, on a little bit of a heater right now. Why now? Why this group? What are you seeing that makes you think like, okay, this is it? Like these guys are playing some grown man hockey right now.
I think it could be different things for different players, but I agree with you. There's something happening that the Predators really need to take a look at. For somebody like Juuso Parssinen, I think part of it is he played a lot in the Finnish league, and the Finnish league is it's a league of men. You know, he really has played with men. It's not been, you know, collegiate hockey. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm just saying, you know, age, size, that kind of thing. So I think that some of these players like Joakim Kemell also played in the Finnish league. So I think that they come in with a little bit different experience that maybe translates to the NHL ice. But I also think you're building something amazing in Milwaukee, and the Predators they do tend to overcook their prospects, or they like them, you know, medium well. Put it that way. They like them medium well. They don't like them rare. And you're building something with this group. I also think part of the success that we're seeing closer to the end of the season, as you bring up, like on Saturday, Spencer Stastny, you've got a locker room of familiar faces. You've got a locker room that has kind of walked the gauntlet of we're moving up into the NHL, ready or not, they need us. We're called up. This is our chance. And so I think there's an environment in the locker room right now, especially with the veterans and the, you know, familiar faces, that just is helping to breed success for these players as well, that, you know, maybe in a different circumstance would be more challenging. I think there's a lot going well. And really so much boils down to what's happening in Milwaukee with Carl Taylor too. You know, he's just incredible. Carl Taylor is absolutely incredible. And, you know, we're kind of reaping the benefits of that. And while they keep backfilling their Milwaukee roster, they're still playing really well. That's what I think. I think there's a couple different factors, but they are coming together at a really interesting time for the Predators.
Can you imagine, like, let's say training camp or right before the season next year, if like Luke Evangelista starts in the AHL?
Oh gosh, can we just not even?
Can we just imagine can we imagine if it's another Phil Tomasino situation and one of these people find themselves in the minors?
I'm gonna need you to put that thought back in your pocket.
Yeah, I think at that point, I will gather the pitchforks and torches to march on John Hynes.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is going into training camp, I think the heat this time is going to be on the veterans. It's not going to be on these young players. These young players, you know, are Luke Evangelista. He's putting it out there. I mean, he's proving what he can do. It's going to be an interesting training camp because the heat this time is going to be on the veteran players.
Yeah, if there wasn't before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if it wasn't before, it definitely is now. So it's going to be an interesting offseason, I think, for Nashville, sure. And especially interesting to see what happens in training camp as well. More plus minus to get to. We do have some minuses we have to talk about and a couple of big pluses. We'll get to that in just a second.
First, want to let you know today's episode is brought to you by a product that Nick and I actually use every day. It is AG1 by Athletic Greens. And maybe you're like me, you want to be healthy and eat well, but it is just always easier said than done. But that's no longer the case when you use a product like AG1. With one delicious scoop of AG1 in a glass of water each day, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports gut health, nervous system, immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Let's hear it for that. All the good things you're looking for. And it can be hard and expensive to go ahead and keep track of multiple different supplements and vitamins, not to mention how hard it can be on your stomach. AG1 costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew habit. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, Ann, we had some pluses. Let's get to some minuses, shall we? What's a minus to highlight this week?
All right, I feel like broken record. Can we just talk about the injuries? Matt Duchene.
Oh God!
Oh.
Does this need like a content warning when we talk?
This they're dropping like flies and it's getting grosser, friends. I don't know what else to say. So this week, Matt Duchene took a shot in the hand, immediately pulled off his glove. And if you watch the replay, and I wouldn't, but if you want to, bleeding profusely from his hand, he skates to the bench and down the tunnel. And if you watch closely enough, you will see Kiefer Sherwood's face when he looks at Matt Duchene's hand. Well, we figured out why. It's not that Kiefer Sherwood is afraid of blood, friends. It's because hideous injury Matt Duchene shared. Like, I'm going to try to get through this.
Oh, no.
Matt Duchene apparently shared that when he took his glove off, the tip of his finger remained in his glove, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, I can feel your voice cracking right now.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so he is out. We saw him on the broadcast Saturday. His finger is majorly bandaged. I don't even want to know anymore. Yeah. I don't want to know any more than he's already shared. But they're dropping like flies. Cole Smith left the game on Saturday. John Hines did not have an update after the game, so we'll wait today to hear kind of what his status is. But man, these injuries are, I mean, really at some point we need to bubble wrap what we've got left, Yeah. And I think Carl Taylor at some point is going to like circle the wagons and be like, no, y'all get your own.
Yeah. He's like, excuse me, the Admirals have a playoff.
That's right.
We would like to be healthy for.
Please.
I feel like, Carl Taylor's going to pitch the rest of the games, be like those like that game in intermission, the bubble hockey.
Yes.
Where it's just everybody's in the bubble wrap and stuff. And if you see somebody that took a run at your player earlier this season, it's just going to be like you just do the thing where you just squirrel jump into them and try to knock them backwards 500 feet or something like that. Which, I said that as a joke, but now that I just said it, it kind of sounds awesome. And I would love to see a game like that.
Off-season content, friends. Off-season content.
There we go. And I am giving a minus to a certain team that the Nashville Predators are going to be playing this week, the Winnipeg Jets. And not because they were bad, but because they were really good. Remember, the Nashville Predators were trying to stay in the playoff race, and instead the Winnipeg Jets came out with not one, but 2 blowout wins over the last weekend. First, they beat Detroit 6-2. That one was just kind of, thanks Detroit for helping us out right there. Really appreciate it. But then they go to Sunday against the New Jersey Devils, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL all season. 6-1 win for the Winnipeg Jets there as well. And so all of a sudden the Jets are on a little bit of a heater. And it's, not a fun thing for Preds fans to deal with, because now it just feels like the mountain has gotten a little bit tough to climb. Also, to add insult to injury, Nino Niederreiter, 2 goals over the weekend.
I mean, first of all, you're welcome, Winnipeg. We didn't even want to give you Nino Niederreiter. We liked Nino Niederreiter. We give him to you, and this is how you repay us. It's offensive.
You better not publish a bowling gif.
Oh my gosh.
We are going to have some problems, I think.
Oh, can you imagine like that? that right there, it would get real. It would get so real between these two teams if they tried to like up the bowling gif.
Yeah.
Or GIF, whichever.
Say it's GIF, right? It's not the peanut butter. There's already something named GIF.
I know, but some people are like, it's a soft G. It's a whole thing. It's exhausting to me.
Oh, my minus goes to those people. All right, Ann. We need a couple of pluses to end the show on. What you got for us?
We do. I want to give a really fat plus to the entire Nashville Predators team and to head coach John Hynes. Look, this has been a really difficult week in Nashville for everyone. It will continue to be a challenging week, weeks to come, as just the city kind of tries to piece some things back together after the school shooting that happened this week. And it really affected the Nashville Predators. It affected everybody in the community, but how this team responded and what they tried to do, I think, deserves some credit. This was a really difficult situation. And, we in the media asked, these players about it. And, they were very honest. They were very kind. They were very thoughtful in how they addressed it. Even these young players. I mean, this is a tricky situation. And, there's a line between, sports and the world that people don't want you to cross. But I think that these players walked this out with a tremendous amount of grace and care, and knowing that sports isn't the most important thing. They really tried to give the city, to show the city some love on the ice and off the ice. And so the way that this team walked it out, I want to give a fat plus to them, because it's not an easy thing to do. And John Hynes talked about it after the game Saturday afternoon. The team and the coaching staff actually got to meet with the police officers who were in the school after the game privately. And John Hynes just kind of spoke about what it's been like for this team to walk through this week. And I just wanted to share this clip.
It was really special. I think it was, even coming off the Boston win, just I think the emotion of what had happened here and how it affected some of the, guys in the team. And I think Nashville as a community, and obviously the Covenant School, and I think just the effort and the pride that the players took in the Boston game. I thought it was going to be tougher to get that emotion back in the Pittsburgh game, and then coming home for the first game after that, it was something special. I know these guys really took some things to heart, and it was something where we wanted to get back in front of our fans, and it was really special too. Like, the guys had an opportunity to meet some of the police officers that were in the school after the game. Just now, that's where I just came from, and it was. I'm just really proud of the players. I think just you can see the care level that they had for these type of situations was really special.
Yeah, and we say this all the time. Hockey is a sport. Yep. It's secondary to real life. But I think it also behooves us to say what sports means to a community. Doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on, or, what political or social backgrounds you have. When there's a team like the Nashville Predators in your community, you're represented by the Nashville Predators. You represent the entire city, people from all walks of life. And, not only does an event like this, I think, bring, in the darkest sense of the term, bring people together, in a show of support. But I think sports is a way to do that as well, for a way for the entire city to kind of get together and highlight that. And, when you're the Nashville Predators, it's not easy. No. It's not easy to go out there after an event like this and have a hockey game be in the front of your mind when you see the community is hurting like this. But winning a game like you did Boston, just hours after this happened, that's something positive that the city can look at. And, even if it's just sports, yes. A moment of joy, a moment of happiness, a moment to kind of celebrate. You've seen it in other cities, just how, like in Boston, the Red Sox after the marathon bombing, and just how important that season was to the city overall. Sports, I think, is a healing tool. It is in many ways an escape. In many ways, it is a chance for people to kind of, transition into, ready to rebuild their community, ready to rally around their community. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think that's exactly what sports should be, a way for the community to rally and move forward around something positive. And so I credit the Nashville Predators going out there this week under tough circumstances and putting out two very, very big wins.
Yes.
That I think, it certainly gave us something positive to talk about on our show. And I hope, if you're listening, maybe it gave you something positive to look at this week as well.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Well, that is a good point to end on. Of course, Predators play Dallas Stars tonight in Dallas. We will have a full recap of that tomorrow on Locked On Predators. And where can the fine people find your work?
You can find my work online at InsideThePreds.com. You can find me on Twitter at ANK_Mama on Ice.
Well, as previously mentioned, starting today, you can find all my work on penaltyboxradio.com. Also, follow me on Twitter at _NSMorgan. Also, be sure to follow the podcast on Twitter, LO_Predators. We love to see tweets from you guys on our shows. Also, be sure to subscribe. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform, hitting that subscribe button really helps us out. So we hope you take a second to do that. That's going to do it for us on today's Locked On Predators podcast. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. Back tomorrow with an all-new episode. See you then.